1993. It was a long, hot summer with a long, hot week of competition in Jackson, Mississippi. It was also a year in which developments in Somalia, which would later provide the true life story for the movie Black Hawk Down, would happen with tragic consequences for the U.S. military. Terrorists attempt to blow up the World Trade Center in New York City, unsuccessfully. A 51-day standoff in Waco, Texas, comes to a fiery end at the Branch Davidian compound. Dinosaurs ruled the box office. Jurassic Park, the blockbuster hit of the year. Seinfeld got the Emmy for Best Comedy. And we got wet. I mean, really wet for the first time in a finals competition that night in Jackson.
22 years without rain, and we suddenly get hit. You've got to remember, it was really hot all week. In fact, I thought we were going to do TV features on how hot it was.
Instead, the humidity came down out of the sky all at one time.
All at one time. All night long it rained, but it really poured on the Madison Scouts.
But it was a magic moment because the fans and the Scouts just bonded in the mud.
Well, there was an outpouring, you should excuse the expression, of faith and support for the Madison Scouts, and they really came through. It was an amazing moment that way. But it was a real story about the cadets. They edged the Star of Indiana by a thin 1/10 of a point. The show is phenomenal, high energy, characteristic cadets of Bergen County. But in this case, the story might be Star and that unusual show that they put on the field.
Medea, it was different, and it was not universally popular with the fans.
No, the fans thought that they were being left out of the mix, but in actuality, it was probably the next step in intellect and intelligence for drum corps. Star mounts this Medea production, and it includes substantial amounts of movement and expression and silence in a way we hadn't seen on the drum corps field before. Really interesting. Later, this is their last year, and they become Blast on Broadway. They take all these ideas and develop them into essentially a Broadway show. So it's a miracle in a way that we make that transition. My favorite show...
My favorite moment on the field, Phantom Regiment.
Yeah, the crab stepping wedge.
Yep.
This crab stepping wedge, they make a wedge, and then the whole thing crab steps. You've seen that step from drummers before, but in this case it's the horn players. And they slide across the field, suddenly turn a 360, and spread on out. Place goes pandemonium.
2 new faces in the top 12 this year.
Colts, which we haven't seen up in the 12 before, from Iowa. And then the Toledo Glassmen, and they're a corps to watch because they're starting their rise at this time. So 2 really interesting. Blue Devils, Scott Chandler's color guard's always interesting, but in this case they use weird props. Huge paint brushes to kind of paint the portrait of Don Ellis.
1993, the action was in Jackson.
Welcome back to the Marching Arts Network. I am the Stressmaster. Thank you all for joining me on this 1993 adventure. This is my age out year. If you have not seen Canaan's, please go back and watch. It's going to be up in the corner right here. He aged out in 1992, so you're going to see 1992 Freelancers. And when Jen does her show, it's going to be the 95 Phantom Regiment. So hope you guys enjoy this little tour down memory lane, or a little journey down memory lane, as we kind of talk about our age out years. So I got to march 5 years. Oh, I always put the wrong shoulder here. So I did not march 94. This jacket, this is my replacement. My original jacket with all my patches got lost. Really sad about that because I have a lot of patches from all the places I've been. But I marched 89, 90, 91, 92, and 93, all on baritone. So I really loved playing baritone. It was a fantastic instrument to play. I loved the people I marched with. We didn't always get along, but you know, that's what happens when you're on tour and around each other all the time. But we have a bond, you know. People I marched with throughout the 5 years, I have bond. I mean, we still, you know, we're all on Facebook. We constantly are you know, talking to each other through different posts and stuff like that. So if somebody's watching from Freelancers, hey, let yourself be known down in the comments. We'd love to hear from you, and I'm going to definitely post this on my Facebook page so everybody can see it. But I really loved marching with these people in all the years that I marched. 93 was more challenging year. I'm going to talk more about that at the end of the video, but this was my last year, so kind of interesting. The show was music of Bill Chase. Great music. I absolutely love this book. It was so much fun to play. I think it's one of John Zimny's best arrangements. I know that Kanan thinks 92 is, but if you really listen to 93, there's some stuff in here that is just so deep and complex, and I just think it's an amazing show. 94 also, when they did music of Matrix, was also a crazy, like, 70s hippie trip kind of a show. But all right, let's get to the show. Here we go. Okay, so this is our 93 show. It's music of Bill Chase. Bill Chase is a jazz trumpet player. He had a big band, all that stuff. Really great music. This is actually my second watching, so what had happened was...
On the field from Sacramento, California, Drum Corps International.
I watched it,
the Freelancers.
and I realized I had the speakers on, so it was bleeding into my audio, so I had to redo it again. But Schnack.
Freelancers, you may take the field for competition.
All right, here we go. Brian, good job, buddy. He had a really tough time with the show because he literally got thrown into it, and they're like, "Oh, you're gonna play the lead," and he had to learn all this stuff, and it's a very hard part. So I think he did a great job. I mean, I think the horn line did a really good job overall, considering how we started. This drill, man, we're just running. I'm running like people running chords. You're gonna see me pop out here. I'm right here, this guy right here. This is our trio. So from left to right, it's myself, Marty, and then Greg. Greg went on to march Blue Devils. I can't remember, Marty, if you marched another corps or not. But Marty, if you're watching this, tell me in the comments below. There's Holly, Serena. I can't tell who else was there. Maybe Stacy. This was such an interesting year. I love the music. The music, it was just so good. I know Kanan said that the 92 book was some of John Zimny's best writing. I think this year in 94 was also really, really good. Just the orchestration stuff is just so like deep, like chord structure wise and stuff. Really good, man. So good. Alright, my cat decided to jump up here. I love this little transitional. I think this is Paint It Sad. Very good transitional piece. Susie. Nice sound, baritones. Low brass, really good sound. Crank it up, man. Nice little bending box here. Color guard was also really, really good. Nice walking bass line. Like are we doing like kind of like a toe point? Really challenging book to play. I think the horn line stepped up. I mean, I'll tell you guys a story later on, but nice bell tones. Love it. Oh, nicely played, Brian. So nice, dude. Nice conducting there, Chad. Seriously. We used to give him a hard time about his conducting, but that was... He was very much boom, boom, boom. Oh, I love this part. Euphoniums and baritones, man. You guys can play, man. Little lunge. So Star of Indiana wasn't the only one doing body visuals. We were. Pretty loud. And what really hurt us was our cleanliness. But we started really late in the season, from what I remember. Drumline was really good. Nice sound. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, funky. And they're like swinging it too. And then nice articulation, dude. Body visuals. See, Star was the only one doing body visuals in '93. We were too. We were the innovators. Very cool guard. Like kind of like the little aggressive swoops. Very small snare line. Usually we had 9 or 2. I think we had 11 one year, but it's a pretty small snare line. This has like a Spanish flavor to it. People thought we were done. Oh wait, there's more. I love when we put this tag on. Nice sound, man. And that bass is, there's no synth, man. That's real bass. That's Contras. Now we're really done.
The Freelancers from Sacramento, California.
Screaming. Sorry, I'm probably screaming through that whole friggin' thing. Okay, so I haven't, like I said, I actually watched that show and then I had to re-record it again, but I'm glad I did because it got a lot of things out the first time. But I mean, I was still excited for the second time. So 93, man, that was such a, okay. From what I remember, I showed up to a camp and there was 13 horns. 13 horns. That was it. That's all we had. So then I was like, oh, crap. We need to recruit and get some people here. So I did some recruiting. Other people did some recruiting. We got people there. I mean, you can see it's almost a full horn line. So drumline, I think, was fine. Color guard, I think, was fine. It was really the horn line that was the problem. But, man, they came a long way. I mean, we just... considering there was very few veterans there, I think there was maybe a dozen in the horn line. Euphoniums, I think we had a few. Baritones, there were, there was about, no, maybe it was more than a dozen. Maybe it was about 20 or 30. Because the half of the baritone line was new. Half the baritone line was myself and Dwan, Ryan, I'm missing some people, I'm sorry. In the euphoniums, we had a few euphoniums, contrabasses. We had a couple mellophones. We had a few trumpets. I keep saying trumpets. Sopranos, trumpets. We had quite a bit of sopranos that year. But, man, you could hear the quality. I mean, if we would have had 2 more weeks, we probably could have made finals. But we didn't. We got a 79.6, so that's pretty high score. I don't think we ever broke 80 that year. But the music was Bill Chase. Great show. I mean, I loved it. The whole 70s thing. And then they did, in 94, they did music, this group called Matrix. I've never been able to find their music again. I got it from Brian, the soloist. He actually, I think, gave it to John. And then said, hey, man, you got to check this out. And it was just this wild, freaking 70s acid trip kind of stuff. Bluecoats would love that now. But a great show. So tell me your guys' thoughts in the comments below, what you thought of the show. 15th place finish, like I said, it wasn't horrible. We weren't bad. We just weren't clean. And that was just the problem. We just weren't clean. The show was very difficult. Music was super hard. I mean, really hard. We really didn't water much down. I mean, the opening trio section, woo, that was hard. Yeah, anyway. That was my age out year. So I was born in 72, and that's the year DCI was formed. So I'm technically that year was a special age out ceremony because it was a DCI 21 age out, kind of a thing. And then the 50th, I was there for the 50th in 2022. That was also a special thing. Really, I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I marched. Like I said, I almost quit in 90. I almost just didn't want to come back in 1990. I'm glad, after 90, sorry, into 91 season. I'm glad I did, because 91 was a great year for the Corps. I mean, we were, man, the baritone line, the euphonium, basically the horn line, or the low brass, we just, sat around a lot that year. That was a great year. 92, like I said, it was a little tougher. But, I decided, I'm just going to keep marching. I'm going to march all my years. I can only do it until I'm 21. So if you're on the fence and you're like, well, should I march? Should I not march? I know the costs are are really high. I totally get it. But you can make more money when you get older. You can't make more time. You have to do it while you have the time to do it. Now, if things happen where you just absolutely can't, then, by all means, you shouldn't. But if you have the ability to march, I highly recommend marching into your age out year, because you will regret it if you don't. Some people don't. I have a couple friends that didn't march their age out years, but anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. We have some, by the time you see this video, we're going to have some special guests on our channel. So stay tuned for that. The podcast, we're going to be recording that this weekend. I'm going to try to get this video out tomorrow. I'll see if I can get it done or not. But I appreciate you guys. And thank you so much for being a part of this channel. We really, truly appreciate it. Please make sure you subscribe if you have not done so. And also make sure you visit our page, our YouTube page, where you can become a part of the community. You can also become a member. We also have a merchandise store. We'd love for you guys to visit the merchandise store. Take a look, take a peek. There's some cool stuff on there. Different logos, different designs, things like that. You can get shirts, hats, onesies for your baby, stuff for your dog, whatever you want. It's pretty much on there. And we would really appreciate you guys supporting this channel. So thank you so much. We'll see you on the next one. Until then, you know what to do. Got to march on.